Hey Shelby Bells, it's Shelby. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in for another video. In today's video, you guys, we have to talk about some drama that really isn't drama. I mean, it's very dramatic, the situation, but it's also pretty serious. And you guys know that covering this serious tea, I'd much rather be covering, you know, the lack of inclusivity of a foundation range or a patchy eyeshadow palette or something, but this situation is actually pretty serious. A couple TikTokers named Sienna Mae and Jack Wright are in a lot of they're having a lot of issues right now. Jack Wright is accusing Sienna Mae of SA, and it's just kind of messy. They've both made statements about it, and I just kind of want to talk about it a little bit and my opinions on the whole thing. If you're interested in hearing more about that drama, then make sure that you keep on watching. Mr. Kitty, you've missed your fans too, haven't you, dear? I know, Mr. Kitty. Oh, well, you know what, baby? We're back. We're back. We're back to filming. We're back to in-person videos instead of voiceovers. And we've got a lot of cool, exciting stuff coming for them, right, Mr. Kitty? Yes, so you guys, I know, I want to start off before we start talking about all this stuff. I know I have been kind of MIA a little bit. I've been posting a couple videos a week, but that's not really anywhere near what I normally post. I normally post like 5 to 7 videos a week, and I've only been posting like maybe 2 the past few weeks. And I'm going to talk all about that in a live stream this week. It is the week of my birthday, and you know, Venus was in retrograde, Mercury went into retrograde, and I think that with all of that, there was just a lot going on, and I want to share it with you guys, and I think I found my way back to where I need to be. So I'm going to share that all that with you guys in a live stream this week, so stay tuned for that notification, and I'll make sure I get it scheduled so you guys can plan for it and set your reminders and all that. It is coming very soon, but the important thing is I'm back, and I'm so happy to be back. Anyway, so Jack Wright and Sienna Mae, they are TikTokers. They were supposed to be on the Hype House show that was on Netflix. If you guys haven't caught up on that tea, the Hype House, which is like one of those little like content creator houses, they got their own show on Netflix, and these two people were supposed to be a big part of this series. Now, I've made a couple videos about this in the past, and the show ended up with a big focus on Wright, and who was another TikToker who was a part of the Hype House, and also Nikita Dragon, and the fact that he apparently tested positive for COVID-19 and then went to a party, and it was like this huge drama. That's kind of like what a lot of the series kind of circled around, because apparently after this drama, which I'm about to tell you about with Sienna Mae and Jack Wright, they couldn't use any of that footage because Sienna Mae completely backed out of the series after all this stuff happened. So it's important to note that this drama started like months ago when they were filming the Hype House show, because they had to film that whole thing, get it edited and all of that, and now just more stuff's coming out about this because Jack Wright actually just posted a YouTube video a few days ago titled "What Sienna Mae Did to Me." Now the allegations are from Jack that Sienna Mae SA'd him, basically. Inappropriate touching when he was passed out under the influence of something, I'm assuming. Oh, Rich Lux is calling. Hello? I'm filming. You're live.
You're almost done?
Yeah, I'm almost done. Okay.
You're live?
No, I'm just filming. But yeah, I'll be done filming in like 10 minutes, and then I'll head out if you're ready.
Oh, really? Okay, take your time. No, take your time. No rush. Okay.
Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, sorry. That was Rich. We're gonna go shopping. Jack accused her of doing all these things when I believe that like he was passed out under the influence of stuff, but he also mentions just a lot of different kind of weird occasions where this girl Sienna would just kind of like come into his house and like lay in the bed with him and touch him inappropriately and all of these things. And Mr. Kitty is using the cat box while we're filming, and nothing has changed over here, you guys. She's touching him inappropriately. She's getting into the bed with him. Her car is parked outside his house at 2 a.m. and he would notice it. And just a lot of just things that are really like, and there's video proof of her doing this where she's touching him when he's like passed out and unconscious, and it's really not looking good for Sienna Mae. So Sienna Mae wrote a blog post, okay, and she'd addressed this whole situation apparently in the past, and it was not a good way to address it. Her legal team addressed everything, and basically it made Sienna end up looking a lot worse. When she posted this blog post, she basically, it reads more, and I found all the blog posts from T-Spill, okay? I watched T-Spill's video on this, so shout out T-Spill. The blog post is very long, okay? And I agree with T-Spill said it sounded almost like a journal entry, and it kind of does. It's very much like a diary entry almost. And it basically just is kind of talking about her turning 18 and, you know, how she felt like turning 18 would be and how it is now, and kind of talking about all the stuff that's going on with Jack and everything. And basically, in a nutshell, what Sienna's claiming is that they had this fake relationship for TikTok that was mutually beneficial, and they got brand partnerships together and all of these things together, and they were merging their kind of like careers a little bit together because of this brand, and people were shipping them so much and wanted them to work so much, and it was just a huge thing. And you know, she ended up in her mind, and I'm just saying what she wrote, you guys, because I'll give you my opinions on this after I kind of outline what she said in this blog post. But she said in her mind, the lines became blurred of if she was actually in a relationship, or if she actually liked this guy, Jack, or if it was a fake relationship for, you know, mutually beneficial reasons, views, clout, etc., right? She said those lines got blurred. She said that they would kiss, that they would do all these things, but that basically she started to realize that it was only for his benefit when he saw it was beneficial to him, for the cameras, for the clout, etc. And in that show, she thought she was being used, okay? She kind of goes back and says that a lot of the claims that he made against her, she never did, and or maybe that they happened in a different way that he's not explaining fully, okay? And in a nutshell, it just sounds like, because the thing is, the whole thing is very long, you guys. If you want me to go and make another video on this topic and read you the whole blog post, I'll do it. I wasn't going to do it in this video, but I'll do it. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want me to go through and read the whole blog post. I'll do it. But in a nutshell, it just, and I'm not saying this is an excuse or anything for her, this is just what she crafted this blog post to sound like, was that she was a victim of falling in love with somebody she should not have fallen in love with, that didn't care for her in the way that she cared for him, that the lines were blurred between a fake media relationship and a real one, and that, you know, now he is trying to make her seem out like slut shaming, or making her seem to be like the bad person in all of this to now benefit his career. That's what the whole thing sounds like that she's saying, okay? In a nutshell, that's how her blog post is coming across. Now, if you want to know what I think about this, I think that, first of all, this needs to be handled through a legal team offline, because when it comes to allegations like this, I always think it needs to happen offline, okay? When it comes to a male coming forward about allegations like this, they are never taken as seriously as it would be a woman coming forward about this, okay? I think it's important to note that, and I think that it's important to keep that whole thing in mind when you consider what Sienna is saying, which is also a very typical situation, maybe not when you're in the maybe not the aspect of the media relationship part and the clout chasing and all of that, but for a man to use a woman for what they can gain from them, and then you as a woman being young, naive, with not as much life experience, to understand the difference and to understand your worth as a woman, being in a loving relationship that is mutual, and then someone just using you for what they can get from you. Because I think that all women have been through that. I'm not saying men haven't either, but I think that a lot of young women can also relate to that. And I think that it's important to note that when you're talking about Sienna and Jack like this, I think it's important to not let what Sienna is saying kind of take over, and for you to just be like, oh, I've been there as a woman. I know, you know, men are like this. Like, you thought it was morbid, it wasn't, girl. Like, oh, I get it, da da da. I think it's very important that we recognize that even if that was how Sienna was feeling, because I do believe that's probably how Sienna was feeling, okay? That does not make it okay to do the things that Sienna allegedly has done to Jack Wright, okay? It does not make it okay. Just because you feel like a relationship is, you know, like you're in love with this person and you think that they're in love with you too, it doesn't make it okay for you to touch somebody while they're unconscious and they can't consent to that. Because just consent means that consent should be given every time. Okay? It's not just because you consent once to something, maybe they have, doesn't mean that you can't take your consent back and say it's not okay another time. So it's important that we remember that, even though I'm not doubting the fact that Sienna probably did think that, you know, they had something going on and that they had all of these things and stuff. Maybe also, you know, she did do some stuff that wasn't okay because she was caught up in that. And that's not okay. You can't touch people inappropriately without their consent. And if someone's given you the cues that they are not interested in doing anything like that with you, even though they may have said that they were in the past, even if you've made out in the past, even if you've done whatever in the past, if in the moment it's not happening, it's not okay to pursue it. And you can't just use somebody's body language or someone's, you know, anything to justify that. It has to be consent. It has to be like, yeah, I'm into this, you know, yeah, I'm in this, I want this, or yes, you can, or whatever it is, like, okay, you know, like, and I'm not saying, you guys know, it's not like this dramatic thing where you're like in the moment and you're like looking in each other's eyes and you're like, okay, stop. Do you consent? Like, that's not what that is. But I think as people, we all know that it's like a thing where it's like, you know, like, are we doing this? Yes. Like, we're in this. Yes. Like, you know, it's a thing. Like, it's a thing. Okay. I think that Sienna made a big mistake by not making sure that everything was consensual, and a huge mistake if allegedly, the whole thing's allegedly, if she touched him inappropriately when he was unconscious from being drunk. I think that's a huge mistake. I think that's going to get Sienna potentially in some legal troubles. Now, when this situation happened, Sienna was not 18 yet. Okay, that's also very important to remember. These people are teenagers. They are teenagers. Okay, she's just now 18. I think Jack Wright is around the same age. Okay, I don't know what that's going to mean legally though. She's 18 now. She wasn't 18 when it happened. I don't know what that's going to mean. Okay, I think at this point, if legal action takes place, it might not be for the actual acts that were committed, but maybe more so for the things that have been said by both parties at this point, you know, and if anything, it'll be a conversation of, you need to stop saying my name. You need to stop bringing me up type of a legal situation, as opposed to a legal situation of holding anybody accountable for something, just because she was under the age of 18. And I don't really know how that works, to be quite honest. I don't know if Emily D. Baker is covering any of this. I just don't know how any of that works. It could be a situation now where she can get tried as an adult because the footage is out, and if they decide to pursue something legal now, even though it happened when she was younger, now that she's 18, she could be tried as an adult. I don't know. If you know anything, let me know in the comment section down below how that would work, because I really don't know. I think that Sienna made a huge mistake if she did touch him while he was unconscious, and if she did enter his house without permission. That's obviously not something you can do, you know, despite him giving, so she claims that he gave her his garage code, you know. Okay, I know, I have a key to my best friend's house. I don't just walk into his house whenever, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like there's still boundaries that you got to follow. You know, you can't just, like, I know right now, like, I know where Rich Lux lives. I know how to get in up to the place, into his penthouse. Doesn't mean I just go in there whenever I want to. You know what I mean? Like, you don't do that, you know? My best friend, like I said, I have a key to my other best friend, Zach's house. I don't just go whenever I want and use the key and open up the door to his apartment without his permission. No. So, I mean, it's just about boundaries, and I think that this might be just a really hard lesson that this young girl Sienna's going to learn. I do think that Jack is very brave for coming forward about this, because as a male, there's a huge stigma surrounding SA, and it's almost like you don't get to come forward as a male about SA for some reason, and that when you do, it's taken less seriously. It honestly, that's the public perception of it. It's taken less seriously, but it shouldn't be. And so I'm very I'm proud of this young man for coming forward and telling his truth and being a voice for other young men out there that might be victims of this stuff as well. So I think that he's very brave for doing that, and I think that Sienna just made a couple really bad mistakes that hopefully, you know, she's young and these did happen when she was underage, that she can learn and grow from, and this doesn't define who she is as a person. It's just she was maybe in love and made some mistakes because she was in love and wasn't fully developed and didn't understand what was right from what was wrong. So I'm hoping that that's kind of all that it is, and that this isn't going to be a pattern of behavior with her. God forbid it turns into a situation like what's allegedly happening with Trisha Paytas and Moses, and what Trisha Paytas has done to all her boyfriends. Like God forbid that happen, right? So anyway, it is a really hard conversation, and me being a survivor of SA and all of that stuff, it's very hard for me to talk about this kind of stuff sometimes, but I think I wanted to talk about it because it's an interesting situation, being that it is a male coming forward as opposed to a female coming forward, and the fact that they're both very young. So I think that in a nutshell, like, the first thing I think honestly is how brave Jack Wright is for coming forward about this stuff. I really do think he's very brave for this. So Jack Wright, good for you for speaking your truth and standing up for yourself, and don't get back down from that, and never lose that, because that's very important for you to speak your truth, and you're very brave, and I'm sure that you speaking up about your experience is going to help a lot of other people. So kudos to you. I hope that I'm like wishing you well, I'm wishing you peace, and I hope that all this stuff gets resolved for you guys very soon, and that you are able to recover from whatever trauma you might have experienced with this whole situation. So anyway, you guys, let me know what you think about all of this stuff in the comment section down below with Sienna Mae and Jack Wright. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that Sienna Mae was just caught up in the love? Do you think that Sienna Mae knew what she was doing and needs to pay for it? Do you think, I mean, what do you think? What do you think about Jack Wright coming forward? Like, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. And that's going to be it for today's video, you guys. If you did enjoy it, make sure you give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. Don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified of all my future videos when they do post. Remember, all Shelby Bells ring the bell, and there's going to be a link to join the Bell Army in the pinned comment, so I hope you do that. I love seeing all of your custom emojis and your little member icons in the comment section down below. I love it so much. I live for it. I'll be going live later this week for a birthday get ready with me, and also just another time this week. We'll be going live twice this week, another day, just to kind of update you on what's been going on with me. So I hope to see you all there. Aside from that, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.